So this week in remote learning for Algebra 2 Trig, you're going to have an assessment on the Unit 8 statistics unit that we've been working on. I will release that assessment on Wednesday morning at 7 a.m. and you will have until Friday night at 10 p.m. to complete it. The first 2 days of the week, I'm hoping that you'll go through this video that highlights the things that we learned in this unit as well as complete the Math Excel. So I'm going to start on box and whisker plots. So although I can't have you draw a box and whisker plot, you will be expected to understand and interpret the data that you're seeing in a box and whisker plot. So I'm going to start off here with this example, asking you to find the 5-number summary and then make a box and whisker plot. So first I'm going to pull up my calculator and I'm going to type in the data here. So in order to do that, I'm going to go to Stat and I'm going to edit. I have data in here already, so just a reminder to clear out of it, you're going to highlight the column L2 and then I'm going to hit clear and then I'm going to arrow down. I'm going to go over and do the same thing for L1. And then I'm going to enter in the data into my calculator here. So I'm going to pause the video and enter that data in. So I've entered in the 14 pieces of data, and the next thing I'm going to do is to quit out of here. I'm going to go back into my stat menu. I'm going to go over to calc. One variable stats is what I want to choose. That's number 1. I'm going to hit enter and then I'm going to hit enter again. Now, again, the data that this is showing me, it's giving me the mean, which for this problem is not important. A box and whisker plot does not have the mean on it. It does have the median though. So I'm going to scroll down. I see that for this data, my minimum value is 6, my Q1 is 9, my median is 12, my Q3 is 17, and my max is 23. I'm going to go back to my box and whisker plot here. I'm going to compare my data. Again, my minimum is 6. My max is 23, so I can figure out the range of my data by subtracting 23 minus 6. I've got the median of 12 and then my Q1 and my Q3. So the way that that's going to translate to a box and whisker plot is, again, I'm going to mark those 5 different values on the box and whisker plot. This is going to represent 25% of my data, another 25, my third 25, and the final 25% of my data. So now let's take a look at interpreting a box and whisker plot. So here it says the accompanying box and whisker plots can be used to compare the annual incomes of 3 professions. So let's see what questions we have here then. Which statement is true? So my first question here is the median income for all nuclear engineers is greater than the income of all musicians. Okay, so the median income for nuclear engineers. Here's my median income for nuclear engineers, and that is not greater than all musicians. There are musicians that, according to this data, earn over 120,000. So let's check out our second option. The second question here is the median income for police officers and musicians is the same. So that is true. That ends up being our answer. So I'm going to go ahead and mark that, but then I also do want to look at the last one just so that we can talk about it. So the last question says all nuclear engineers earn more than all police officers. So that is not true because we've got an overlap here of my bottom quartile of nuclear engineers, and then I've got the top quartile of police officers. So there's some overlap there. So that last one is not true. Okay, moving on to mean, median, and modes, the measures of central tendency. Just wanted to make sure that this was clear as you've been working through these 3 things. So the mean is useful when the data has no outliers. If there are extreme outliers, those are going to skew the mean. So for example, when I put test scores into my grade book and maybe there's 3 students that were absent on the day of the test, it makes the average look a lot lower because those students have zeros entered in because they haven't taken it yet. So in that case, mean is not a good representation of the data. Median is a great representation of the data when there's outliers, like I just discussed. But there also need to be no big gaps in the middle of the data, otherwise the median isn't as useful. And then mode is helpful when a data set has many repeated numbers. Okay, so just another reminder on how to use your calculator. If I'm asking you to find the mean, median, and mode of this data, I've got the scores on a quiz and then the frequency charts. I'm going to go back to my calculator and I'm going to enter these things in. So I'm going to pause the video while I put quiz scores in L1 and frequency in L2. Okay, so I have all of the quiz scores in L1 and I've got the frequency table in L2. I have the older version of the calculator. So I'm gonna have to do one more step than those of you with the newer model will need to do. So the first thing I'm going to do is go into stat, and then I want to calculate one variable stats and hit enter there. Now the rest of you, if you've got the nice new calculator, your first thing, maybe it says like data, and you're going to put in L1. And then the next line down, it's going to say frequency. And there you're going to have to type in L2, and then you'll calculate. I don't have that option. So what I need to do is second one, that'll say L1. I need to hit comma, and then I go second 2 to bring in L2. And then I'm going to hit enter. Okay, so again, this gives me the mean, which is X bar. So the mean of my data is 8. I have to scroll down to get my median. My median is down here. Oh, it's also 8. And then my mode. My mode is the number that happens the most often. So looking at my frequency, 7 is the biggest number. So the quiz score that happens the most frequently is that most kids scored 6 on this quiz. Okay, my next item again sticks with the concept of mean or average. So let's say that I bought 10 items at the grocery store and the mean cost of each item was $2. And then I added a quart of Jenny's ice cream because I am stuck in quarantine and I love Jenny's ice cream. The new mean cost per item is $2.50. So how much did that ice cream end up costing me? And I can tell you it's worth every single penny. So the first thing I do is I've got 10 items with a mean cost of 2. So I figure out 10 times 2, that gives me $20 for those 10 items. And then I need to figure out, okay, now I've got 11 items. So 20 plus the ice cream is going to, divided by 11, is going to equal $2.50. So now I'm going to cross multiply here. So 250 times 11 is equal to 20 plus X. And then when I subtract 20 from both sides, it ends up that Jenny's ice cream is $7.50. Jenny's ice cream is very expensive. It's a Columbus delicacy, but worth every penny in this case. All right, let's move on to standard deviations. We've got two more things, standard deviation and normal distribution. So standard deviation, there are two of them that we're looking at here. The one is for population, and that's lowercase sigma. The other one is sample, and that's the capital S. So it's very hard to have a full population of data that you're looking at. So more often than not, we're going to be using sample. So when you are answering problems on Math Excel, you should go ahead and use sample. The one in particular on the test, I made sure was one that was a sample distribution or a sample deviation rather. Let me get to an example here. Okay, so here I've got some data. So find the standard deviation of this data set. Again, I'm going to pull out my calculator. I'm going to enter this data into L1 and I'm going to clear out L2. Okay, so I cleared out L2 and I pulled in or retyped in L1 with my 5 pieces of data. So I'm going to have to do a stat calculation. So I'm going to hit stat and I'm going to go over to calc. And again, I want to select one variable stats. Now, for you guys with the fancier calculators, if you still have a frequency list of L2 entered in there, go ahead and make sure you clear that out. You don't want it to pull in a frequency list for this data. So I'm going to hit enter here because I just want to pull in L1 and I'm looking for my sample. deviation. So that's S sub X. So my sample deviation here is 1.68. So 1.68. So the last topic is normal distribution. So normal distribution has a symmetric bell shape that's centered on the mean. So the mean is important here, and then you'll also be given whatever the standard deviation is. So this part here, the empirical rule that's spelled out here, is important for you to know, as well as these percentages that are underneath the curve. Those are also important for you to know. And I guess as I'm looking at this and seeing that word shape, that's reminding me, make sure that if the assessment does have some questions on like shape and spread of data. So I didn't include any of those in this particular recording, but please make sure that you go back and listen to those. I think that wasn't last week, but the week before that we covered that material. Okay, so let's look at one last example here. We've got scores on an Algebra 2 final exam are approximately normally distributed with a mean of 150 and a standard deviation of 15. So I've already set up my normal curve here. I've got 150 in the center, that's my mean or my average, and then I've added one standard deviation to the right, so plus one standard deviation, so plus 15, plus 15, plus 15, and then I started at 150, minus 15, minus 15, minus 15. So what percentage of students rather who took the test scored above 180? So in this first standard deviation, it's 34%. The second standard deviation, that's 13.5. So if I add those together, that's 47.5. Everything from 150 up is 50%. So I can do, let me just type this up, 50 minus the 47.5. So that ends up equaling 2.5. So 2.5% of the students who took the test scored above 180. All right, so if you've got any questions on any of these topics, please feel free to reach out to me. Again, there'll be a review math Excel that I'll look for you to be completing on Monday and Tuesday, and then the test will become available for you Wednesday morning at 7 a.m. I hope you're all doing well. Take care.